Assalamualaikum and good evening, everyone. Today I'm going to talk about one topic that is called nano pollution. So, what exactly is nano pollution? Well, it refers to all the waste matter or byproducts that are caused by nanoparticles. They can be both incidental and engineered. Incidental usually refers to naturally made nanoparticles from dust storms, volcanic eruptions, and forest fires, while engineered nanoparticles are usually made for use of cosmetics. What other sources of nanopollution? One include the production of raw materials such as mining and refining operations, which release a lot of nanoparticles into the air. They are also emitted from commercial products like cosmetics or sunblocks, like titanium dioxide from sunscreen. Lastly, also disposal of nanoparticles from waste treatment and sewage and wastewater stream, as nanoparticles are released during waste disposal from cleaning operations and filter residuals. The rest of the facts will be explained through this video.
Hello everyone, and welcome to our studio. Today we're going to discover together the mysterious universe of nanoparticles. And to do so, we're fortunate to have as our guest Pierre, a nanotechnology specialist. So Pierre, what is a nanoparticle?
Well, it's a particle that's 1 billion times smaller than we are. The size of a nanoparticle compared to an orange is like the size of an orange compared to the planet Earth. Nanoparticles are extremely fine, but they're still 10 to 1,000 times bigger than a molecule of oxygen, for example.
And where are these nanoparticles found?
They've always been found all around us, as ultrafine dust in the air, for instance.
Really? Let's just double-check that with our special correspondent Nano, who's now on location in the ambient air.
Yes, Kathleen, as you can see, in the air, there's a very large number of nanoparticles continually moving about. They keep bumping into each other, binding together, and reforming. The number is constantly changing, and when combustion takes place, watch! The number can increase 100 to 1,000 times.
Amazing! But Pierre, what is actually new about this?
In the past few years, we've learned how to produce different types of nanoparticles, which can be used to develop nanomaterials that sometimes offer very interesting properties. The question today is whether these nanoparticles are a hazard to health and the environment.
Right, but first of all, what can these nanomaterials be used for?
Well, they can be used in several areas: transportation, environment, healthcare, new energies, buildings, and so on.
Interesting. But for now, let's get back to Nano in a laboratory to see how things actually work in the field. Nano, tell us, for instance, can these nanoparticles really be controlled?
Well, Kathleen, it all depends on what state the particles are in. In the powder state, they can easily be dispersed by air movement, so precautions must be taken in handling them. Here, however, as you can see, they're quietly staying put in the liquid. They're much easier to contain. And in a solid nanomaterial, they're very well integrated within the structure.
Thanks so much, Nano, for your valuable report. So, Pierre, it would appear that the particles are firmly attached inside the materials. Is that right?
That is the question. Research is underway to try to determine for which materials and under what conditions nanoparticles could break away and spread into the environment.
Thank you, Pierre, for your explanations. In the next episode, we'll take a closer look at the applications of nanomaterials. Thank you for tuning in, and see you soon.
Are some nanoparticles dangerous to human health? Let's find out. Nanotoxicology is a specific kind of nanopollution that causes health risks in living organisms. The extremely small size of nanomaterials means they're much more easily taken in by the human body compared to larger ones. The human body is designed to detect foreign objects and create phagocytes to break down nanoparticles. But if there are too many, the cells cannot break down bacteria at the same time, leaving us humans vulnerable to health risks. All the rest will be explained by this video.
Hello everyone, we're back again with Pierre and Nano for this episode, focusing on the possible toxicity of nanoparticles. Pierre, tell us, are manufactured nanoparticles toxic?
That's a very complex subject. At the present time, we are unable to answer by a simple yes or no.
What could make a particle toxic?
Toxicity depends on the chemical nature of the particle, its size, shape, structure, solubility, agglomeration, or surface condition, and so on.
Okay, and when could a nanoparticle be toxic?
Actually, we believe that among the several hundreds of nanoparticles manufactured, some could be toxic in certain circumstances.
What makes you believe that?
There are several clues. For example, small size. The smaller a particle, the higher the percentage of atoms available on its surface. On the nanoscale, this means that the material could be more reactive and therefore possibly toxic. A microparticle of gold, for instance, is said to be inert, whereas a particle a few nanometers in size is extremely reactive. That's why it's used to catalyze chemical reactions. Precisely. If nanoparticles are that reactive in a test tube, it may be the same in a human body or in an ecosystem.
That's disturbing. You explained to us previously that we already breathe natural nanoparticles or nanoparticles from combustion. Better not be exposed to manufactured nanoparticles as well.
That's true. Every time you inhale, you breathe in millions of nanoparticles, some of which are deposited in the alveoli of the lungs. They are then swallowed by specialized cells. But some manufactured nanoparticles have shapes that the organism seems to have difficulties assimilating. Long and rigid nano-objects appear to be capable of causing damage.
I understand. Any other clues, Pierre?
Yes, a toxic or inert nanoparticle can be easily adsorbed. In other words, it can bond with a pollutant and be used by it as a vector for movement. But this phenomenon dates back to before nanotechnologies.
Well, Pierre, personally, I'm rather worried.
We must remain cautious, but also put things into perspective. Experience proves that most nanoparticles bind together very quickly in liquids and in the air. They become bigger, less mobile, and exposure is thus less likely. And most of the time they're trapped in materials, and if the material is recycled appropriately, there's no reason for them to escape. That's right. A large number of laboratories worldwide are getting organized to clarify the issue of toxicity. And for now, we need to get organized to strictly control exposure to nanoparticles.
Thank you, Pierre. That's what we'll investigate in the next 2 episodes. Thanks for tuning in, and see you soon.
Okay, so next we shall be talking about the environmental impacts, because nanopollution can cause serious damage to plants. This includes inhibiting root length, reducing biomass, altering transpiration rate, delaying development, chlorophyll synthesis disruption, damaging cell membranes, and chromosomal aberration. Study shows that cerium dioxide nanoparticles were shown to greatly diminish nitrogen fixation in the root nodules of soybean plants, which leads to stunted growth. In order to deal with this nanopollution, scientists find it crucial in measuring nanomaterials in the environment in order to deal with the nanopollution problems later. But so far, there are no definite methods in order to measure the levels of nanopollution, which became a high priority in environmental conservation. Still, nanoparticles are found in a variety of conditions, making universal testing methods non-viable. However, preventing nanopollution is never too late, because many agree that the best way to work towards a solution to the problems is initially through collaboration. Strict regulations will be necessary on the nanomaterials which can be released to the environment from manufacturing facilities. But regulators are hesitant to act because the unclear agreement from research today about the health implications of exposure to nanopollution. This has led to irrationalizations like spray painting on fortress in order to oppose against nanotechnology lab installation in 2007. So in conclusion, nanoparticles are like a double-edged sword since they bring trouble just as much as benefits. So you need to handle the nanoparticles properly to reduce or avoid nanopollution altogether. Collaboration among researchers and citizens is a must to deal with the nanopollution in the future. And the next slide is a list of references in case you want to know more about nanopollution in the future. So there you have it, nanopollution in a nutshell. Yeah, I know some of us are struggling to explore because of the COVID-19, but that doesn't give us an excuse to stop learning at all. So have a pleasant day and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.